Imagine a field, not just any field, but one pierced by hundreds, perhaps thousands of wooden stakes, on each stake a body. This was not a battlefield, but a scene of punishment orchestrated by Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler. Vlad's cruelty, particularly his penchant for impalement, shocked even his enemies. This brutal practice, which earned Vlad his chilling nickname, involved piercing victims through the torso or rectum with a sharpened stake. They were left to die a slow and agonizing death, sometimes over days. The psychological impact of this spectacle, with forests of the dead lining the roads, was profound. It served as a stark warning to any who dared oppose Vlad's rule. This image of unimaginable cruelty is what often comes to mind when we hear the name Vlad the Impaler. But is this all he was? A monster defined by his barbarity? Or is there more to his story than the blood-soaked legends? Vlad III, born in 1431, was voivode, or ruler of Wallachia, a region in present-day Romania. His reign was marked by constant struggle, caught between the encroaching Ottoman Empire and the machinations of Hungarian and Wallachian nobles. He ruled Wallachia 3 times, from 1448 to 1448, 1456 to 1462, and finally in 1476. His life was a whirlwind of violence, intrigue, and relentless warfare. Beyond the battlefield, Vlad was known for his ruthlessness in consolidating power. He was a shrewd diplomat and a cunning strategist, but also a merciless tyrant who brooked no opposition. His methods were undeniably brutal, but they were also terrifyingly effective in maintaining order and defending his realm. Vlad's life and reign are shrouded in a mix of fact and fiction, making it difficult to separate the man from the monster. He was both a product and a participant in the brutal politics of his time, where survival often necessitated extreme measures. To understand Vlad, we must delve into the tumultuous world he inhabited. Vlad the Impaler remains a deeply polarizing figure in history. In Romania, he is celebrated as a national hero, a fierce defender of his people against foreign invaders. Romanians remember him for his resistance against the Ottoman Empire, a powerful force that threatened to engulf Eastern Europe. He is seen as a symbol of Romanian independence and resilience. However, outside Romania, Vlad is primarily known for his cruelty. His reputation as a bloodthirsty tyrant who reveled in sadistic punishments precedes him. The image of the impaled, their bodies left to rot in the sun, has become synonymous with his name. This stark contrast in perception raises a crucial question: how do we reconcile these two seemingly contradictory images of Vlad the Impaler? Was he a hero fighting for his people's freedom, or a ruthless tyrant who indulged in unnecessary brutality? The answer, as with most historical figures, is likely a complex mixture of both. Vlad's life was shaped by conflict from a young age. Born in the Transylvanian town of Sighisoara, he spent his early years as a political hostage, a pawn in the power struggles between Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. These experiences, witnessing firsthand the brutality and treachery of the age, left an indelible mark on the young prince. In 1448, at the tender age of 17, Vlad first ascended the Wallachian throne. His reign, however, was short-lived. He was quickly deposed and forced into exile by rival factions backed by Hungary. This early setback fueled his ambition and instilled in him a deep-seated distrust of his enemies. Vlad spent the next few years navigating the treacherous political landscape, gathering support and biding his time for a chance to reclaim his birthright. He understood that in this world, power was a fickle mistress, easily lost and even harder to regain. These formative years, marked by uncertainty and violence, forged within Vlad a ruthlessness that would define his later reign. Reign of Terror, Impalement and its Shadow. In 1456, Vlad returned to Wallachia, reclaiming his throne and unleashing a reign of terror. He swiftly consolidated power, eliminating rivals and dissent. Impalement became Vlad's preferred method of dealing with enemies. It was a tool of terror, meant to instill fear. Rows of impaled bodies served as a grim warning. The night attack, a moment of ruthless brilliance. Vlad's reign was not solely defined by brutality. He was also a cunning strategist and a fearless military leader. The night attack at Târgoviște in 1462 showcases his strategic brilliance and ruthlessness. Mehmed II led a massive army into Wallachia to crush Vlad. Outnumbered, Vlad resorted to guerrilla tactics. On June 17, 1462, Vlad launched a daring night attack. The attack aimed to kill Mehmed and disarray the Ottoman army. Though Mehmed survived, the Ottomans retreated, demoralized. This victory cemented Vlad's reputation as a brilliant tactician and fearless leader. A legacy cast in blood. Vlad the Impaler's life ended as dramatically as it began. Some claim he was betrayed and assassinated by his own men, while others suggest he fell in battle against the Ottomans. He is remembered as a national hero in Romania, a fierce defender of his people, yet his brutality, particularly his penchant for impalement, overshadows his achievements. This duality ensures Vlad the Impaler remains one of history's most enduring enigmas. Vlad the Impaler and the birth of Dracula. Vlad the Impaler's brutal reputation spread throughout Europe, carried by travelers' tales and exaggerated accounts of his deeds. These stories, embellished with each retelling, transformed Vlad into a figure of legend, a cautionary tale whispered around campfires. It was this dark legend that captured the imagination of Bram Stoker centuries later and inspired his iconic novel, Dracula. Published in 1897, Dracula introduced the world to Count Dracula, a Transylvanian vampire who preyed on the innocent. While Stoker drew inspiration from various sources, including folklore and superstition, the influence of Vlad the Impaler is undeniable. The novel's setting in Transylvania, Dracula's noble background, and his penchant for impaling his victims are all clear nods to the historical Vlad. However, it is crucial to note that Stoker's Dracula is a fictional creation, a product of Victorian anxieties and Gothic sensibilities. While he shares certain superficial similarities with Vlad the Impaler, the two are ultimately distinct figures. Confusing the fictional monster with the historical figure does a disservice to the complexities of Vlad's life and legacy. The enduring allure of Vlad's story. Vlad the Impaler's story, a heady mix of history, horror, and folklore, continues to captivate audiences centuries after his death. His life, a whirlwind of violence, intrigue, and political maneuvering, offers a glimpse into the brutal realities of medieval Europe, a world where power was often gained and maintained through ruthless means. But what is it about Vlad's story that continues to resonate with us today? Perhaps it is the duality of his nature, the hero and the monster, that intrigues us. Or maybe it is the sheer brutality of his methods, the impaled forests and the rivers running red with blood that both repels and fascinates us. Whatever the reason, Vlad the Impaler remains a figure of enduring fascination. His story, a cautionary tale about the corrupting nature of power and the blurred lines between hero and monster. His legacy continues to spark debate and fuel our imagination, reminding us that history is rarely black and white, but rather a complex tapestry woven from shades of grey. Beyond the stakes, understanding Vlad's world. To truly understand Vlad the Impaler, we must look beyond the sensationalized stories and delve into the historical context of his time. The 15th century was a period of great upheaval in Europe, marked by religious strife, political intrigue, and the ever-present threat of Ottoman expansion. Wallachia, situated on the frontier between Christian Europe and the Ottoman Empire, was a volatile region caught in the crosshairs of these larger conflicts. Vlad's reign, marked by constant warfare and political instability, was a reflection of this turbulent era. His brutal methods, while extreme, were not entirely out of place in a world where violence was often the norm. Furthermore, it is important to remember that Vlad was not acting in a vacuum. He was surrounded by advisors, enemies, and foreign powers, all vying for influence and control. His actions, however brutal, were often calculated moves in a high-stakes game of political chess. To judge him solely on his methods without considering the complexities of his situation would be a disservice to history. What do you think? Vlad the Impaler remains a figure of enduring fascination and debate. Was he a ruthless tyrant who reveled in cruelty, or a shrewd ruler forced to make difficult choices in a brutal world? Was he a hero who defended his people, or a monster whose legacy is forever stained with blood? The answer, as with most historical figures, is rarely simple. Vlad was a product of his time, shaped by the violence and political turmoil that surrounded him. He was a complex figure, capable of both great cruelty and strategic brilliance. To truly understand him, we must grapple with the contradictions, acknowledge the complexities, and resist the urge to cast him as either a hero or a monster. What do you think? How do you reconcile the contrasting images of Vlad the Impaler? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to check out our other historical videos for more fascinating stories from the past.